I had to stop every plan I had today and talk about this case because I genuinely don't feel right and something is not settled in my bones about it. After seeing all the discourse on social media and hearing like a tiny little snippet of the case, I had a very strong opinion on it already, and now after deep diving into it, I have an even stronger opinion on it. So I'm not gonna waste any time. This video is not gonna be very heavily edited. It's not going to be very heavily cut. And it's also gonna be pretty vulnerable and raw because I literally learned about this case yesterday. So all of this information has just been reeling in my brain and I need to talk about it because it's not okay. I'm sure most of you by now have heard of the Nolan Wells case, but if you haven't, I'm going to update you and give you all of the facts, get you caught up. And then I'm going to talk about alleged speculations and things that are going around being said by family members of certain people who were there, friends, etc. So I need you to take into account that this is an active, ongoing investigation. I'm not a journalist. I have nothing to do with law enforcement, and I also have no prior knowledge on any of the people I'm discussing today, besides researching them within the last few hours. So let's get into it. Oh, everything I also say, especially towards the end of the video, is my opinions and my understanding of what is going on in this case. For legality purposes, I'm going to put that in there. So Nolan Wells was an 18-year-old football player that was native to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Honestly, where he went to high school, things like that, they're not important. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of all of that because I'm not a true crime channel, okay? I don't have a team, and that is not what the purpose of this is. Just realized I didn't have my mic, so sorry about that. The purpose of this video is to spread awareness about the case and to just give my thoughts and opinions. It is my YouTube channel, and this is what I would like to yap about today, so this is what we're yapping about today. On the 4th of July, Nolan rowed out in a boat to Horn Island. Horn Island is about 10 miles off the coast in the Gulf of Mexico, off of the state of Mississippi. All right, it's about 10 miles from his town he grew up in and is a native to Ocean Springs. Now, he allegedly rode out there with 3 boys, and we'll get more into that in a little bit. But basically, here's the timeline of it all. Nolan was on the beach of July 4th. The boat left, allegedly, without him, the boat that he came with. And around midnight that night, Nolan's mom reported him missing. After learning of Nolan's disappearance, his mom frantically reached out to the United Cajun Navy, a volunteer search group that helps in search and rescue missions. The volunteers did not find anything on the island. They continued to search, reached out to social media for more hands-on help. After around 30 hours of searching, the search team was in full contact with investigators, and Nolan's body was eventually discovered in the water just off the northwestern tip of Horn Island. A National Park Service ranger found his body around 8:45 a.m. on Monday, July 6th. The Jackson County coroner identified him as Nolan Wells on July 7th by his dental records. He traveled to the island with 3 of his friends, and according to multiple news outlets, he was last seen around 3 p.m. The 18-year-old student athlete's family has retained an attorney, Ben Crump, to conduct an independent review of the circumstances surrounding Nolan's death. Jackson County Sheriff told ABC News he doesn't suspect foul play, and the boy, quote unquote, chose to stay there, from what he understood, speaking to his friends. The authorities are speculating that Nolan drowned, but the investigation is still ongoing. The circumstances surrounding Wells' death are unclear, according to the police department, but public outrage and racial tensions surround the investigation. Wells was a young black man surrounded by young white males the day of his disappearance. He also drove out there with 3 young white males. Nolan's friends that were with him that day or their families have all made a statement on social media regarding the disappearance of Nolan and the fact that they had nothing to do with it and they do not know what happened. They all claim they don't know what happened after they left the island and notified Nolan's mom that he was missing. The friend's involvement in the case is also still under investigation, allegedly. It was reported by Cajun Navy Incident Command Officer Josh Gill that Nolan was with a young lady at the time of his disappearance. The girl he was with, Katie's family member, either a stepmom or a sister, it is thought to be believed, confirmed on Facebook that they were hanging out, but after they parted ways, she has no idea what could have happened, and the last she saw him, he went with his friends. Local residents have noted on social media the currents on the island can have shallow points, making it hard to swim at some areas. The 3 other young men from the Ocean Springs area that were on the boat with Nolan that they all rode out together to Horn Island are Warren Hudson, Wyatt Pyron, and Morgan Samer. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. After leaving the island, the boys allegedly unfollowed Nolan's social media and deactivated their accounts before some of them have reactivated their accounts and privated them or made new ones completely. No one that was there on Horn Island is claiming they saw anything. And if you've seen any of these videos across social media, there were a lot of people there. The boys told the Jackson County Sheriff's Office that Wells wanted to stay on the island with the girl he met, Katie, so they left him there. The boys then proceed to leave with Nolan's phone still on the boat. This is also a known fact, is that one of the boys on the boat, Warren Hudson, is the stepson of Judge Ashley Cole. For a little backstory on this judge, she was also the judge of another case where a mother was unalived whenever she was doing a drop-off exchange of her kids with her baby daddy. He shot and killed her, and the mom had requested that drop-offs happen at the police station, and the judge denied it, along with other questionable actions from past cases that she has been the judge on. The mom of Warren, his actual mom, not his stepmom, allegedly messaged a friend, I believe of Nolan, and claimed that Warren was the first one to notice he was missing and called Nolan's mom. The mom also said they asked him several times at 5 p.m. to get on the boat. So this is Warren's mom alleging that Warren and Wyatt and several people asked Nolan, or the boys asked Nolan, to get on the boat when it was time to go at 5 p.m. Don't you remember me saying that the police reports and everything else so far have said 3 p.m.? Allegedly, there is a video of an argument that happened that day on the beach of 4th of July. People have been, slowing it down and trying to piece together who's in the video, who's yelling in the video, but someone is obviously screaming the curse word F you or F something, or, they're very upset, they're very irate, and there are 2 people going back and forth. I can't tell from this video if it's Nolan. I have no idea. But I do see where he is in the video, and if you look this video up on Facebook, Instagram, or probably even Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, you will find it. Just look up Nolan Wells altercation or Nolan Wells yelling video on the beach or something like that. You can see multiple people in other boats and in the water in this video that are all staring at the bank of the sand where the boys and the big group of people are on the beach that are allegedly arguing with each other. After this is apparently when Nolan said he was going to stay with the girl, and it was reported that he was seen going to swim in a high riptide area. An area that people claim nobody can see from where most of the people were partying and hanging out. So he was seen going to this area by someone who wouldn't have been able to see him from the party area. So someone must have been following him or heard or knew he was going to swim in that area, right? If you couldn't see him from the other area where everyone was partying, someone must have followed him to claim he went over there to swim, correct? Warren's mom also claimed in that same message I was discussing earlier that Warren would never, ever leave Nolan alone, and it's just not like him. But he literally did. So, besides the many times I've sprinkled my opinion kind of here and there in this video, the research is going down, and this is the part where it's me and you, okay? I heard about this case and I heard one thing. I heard a boy was left by his friends on a beach for after 4th of July partying, and then he was eventually found deceased. I am speaking from my experience as a friend, as a girl, as someone who has been driving for over 10 years and has been the responsible person in the seat of transportation of getting my party to and fro, getting my friends there and back home safely. There have been many a times where I'm driving home, I'm so tired, but I'm like, I have 4 lives in this car and we are going to make it. I'm not even being dramatic whenever I tell you that those thoughts have run through my head. Never in my life, ever, have I left a friend with a group of people, a different group of people, when I brought that person to the function. It's not something you do. It's just not. You do not leave your friend when you are the one that was responsible for their transportation to the place you guys are all at. I absolutely disagree with it. I cannot believe that they did that. I would never, especially if you're like meeting new people you don't know, okay? I also want to take a second to just be obvious and spit out the facts, okay? This happened to a young black man, period, by 3 white young males. 3 white young males left a young black man on an island of people that he did not know. Okay, let me go ahead and reverse the roles for you. 3 black men, 3 young black men left a young white boy on an island with a bunch of people he doesn't know. They would already be in handcuffs. They would already be questioned. There would already be multiple injustices in place happening against those boys because they are black. I'm just going to say it. You guys would be up in arms if the racial roles were reversed in this case. And I do not want to hear any of that, well, we need to stop looking at race. It is about race. Do not do any of that, oh, I'm colorblind. No, you're not. No, you're not. Everything stems back to it. Everything stems back to the dangerous, oppressive systems that this country has placed and built and put up. We've seen this way too many times. The Murdaugh murder cases where, someone is a huge judge, huge power, and they get away with things. Things are moved around. Things are changed. Evidence is all of a sudden disappearing, right? We have Tamala Horsford, who was at a sleepover of moms and was found dead in the lawn, 40 years old, dead in the lawn in the morning. I think it was the backyard. How does that happen? She was with a bunch of white women. How does that happen? And I just think we all need to be aware of what would be happening if this was a white boy. We would be talking about he was a loved member of the community. He was on the football team. He was a star. He was this, he was that. But because it's a black boy, automatically police are saying they believe no
foul play was involved and that he drowned. And that's what they're alleging. That's what they're thinking happened. There were way too many people on that island for this boy, if he was having trouble swimming or whatever, for him to have just drowned. Someone had to have seen something. Someone has to say something, because what? I'm so genuinely shocked at this case, you guys, and I don't think there's any I don't think that there's anything we can say that justifies it. They should not have left him. They should not have left him with someone they don't know. If you are a white person, you have to understand your responsibilities and your role to protect your friends of color. And to protect, because whether you like it or not, those injustices are happening and people are racist and they think disgusting, derogatory, horrible things. It's our job to protect our friends of color at all costs. And everyone, every single person. I don't understand this. Well, he should have gotten on the boat when it was time to. No, they should have dragged him from the island kicking and screaming, because he came on the boat with them. They had his phone. So they allege that the boat started filling up with water when they were trying to leave and it was towed in. I want to see what time it was towed in. If it was towed in, I want to see that time. I need to see the phone records. Everyone's phone. Nolan's, all of the friends, Wyatt, Morgan, Warren, you know, all of them. Throw them all in there. The Bradys, the Ryans, the Jacks. I want to see everybody's phone that was on that beach. Everyone. I want to see records. I want to see what time their boats left. I want to see what time that boat was towed in that allegedly started filling up with water. If you have your friend's phone and you know he's on an island by himself, why wouldn't you go back and give it to him? Why wouldn't someone stay with him? If he was going over to swim in an area that was allegedly very, very dangerous to swim in, why would no one say, hey, Nolan, don't go swim over there. It's really dangerous. The tide's not safe. Why are we not protecting everyone? Period. And I don't want to hear anything about, if you came somewhere with your friend, that is your friend. You protect your friend. You make sure they get home safe. You know how long I've waited outside someone's house because they haven't been inside the door yet whenever I dropped them off? It's common courtesy. It's basic human decency and respect for a person you don't know, but let alone your friend. I went to Nolan's Instagram page. He has posts with these guys. Like they were his friends, allegedly. In Nolan's eyes, to Nolan, these were his friends. And that's what's so dangerous, is that they knew that. They knew that he trusted them. I don't know what else to say. Hopefully I'll have an update for you more when we get the autopsy results. Hopefully they will be truthful autopsy results. I really hope that the private investigation of the man that the family has hired, gets the true answers for justice for Nolan and justice for maybe anyone who they're trying to silence or anyone who is struggling with this case. I hope that you can find peace and we can do this. Justice for Nolan. Please take care of each other. I know this is very different than my normal YouTube content, but I had to talk about it. My stomach hurts. I was literally crying watching his friends' stories of just honoring him. And that's another thing is if your friend passed, it's really weird to private all your social media and not be talking about it at all instead of honoring your friend and trying to get justice for your friend and talking and spreading as much information as you possibly can for your friend. So that's where I'm going to leave the video. Take care of each other, you guys, and I'll see you later.